Hello, folks. Welcome back. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania. The time has come for what many refugee aspirants from South Africa wait for each and every month. That is the release of the total of refugees who have arrived in the United States under President Trump's refugee program for South Africans. Now, this comes out the 5th of the month. Today was tardy. Normally, these figures are available earlier in the day, but they didn't come out until late this evening, so we didn't get a chance to update them. But I'll give you an update for fiscal year 2025, which ended on 30 September, and fiscal year 2026. Please bear in mind that these numbers also include periods where there was no travel. For instance, from the 1st of October until the 17th of November, 16th, there were no arrivals in the United States because the Democrats shut down the government. Again, there were no arrivals from the 18th of December until the 5th of January for Christmas exodus, when about 70 or 75% of government employees take holiday. And then, for some strange reason, which we believe was a pause intended to reset the program because of failures operationally, there were no flights out from the 20th of February until the 9th of March, which is in a few days. So all that in mind, these figures for this fiscal year represent approximately 9 weeks total of travel. Not every day was there a flight, but 9 weeks total. These are the numbers. And let's take a look at what the figures are so far. For fiscal year 2025, there were 335 South African arrivals. Now, bear in mind that includes the 59ers who came and arrived on May 12th, and then a gap between those folks and others who began arriving later in the fiscal year. So those 335 do not count against this so-called cap for FY26. That is 7,000 for South Africans at the moment. But as I've mentioned many times in the past, caps often get frequently ignored. For FY 2026, effectively 9 weeks or less of travel, 3,155 South Africans have arrived here. The actual total refugees is 3,158 because 3 Afghans arrived who went to Colorado, which the media fails to tell you about. So the running total so far for FY 25 and 26 is 3,490 South Africans arrived in the United States. Now that figure will grow, and we expect it to grow demonstrably in February. However, we didn't predict the pause that occurred. That pause ends, and people begin flying again on March 9th, just a few days from today. So we'll keep track of those numbers for another incomplete month for March. Hopefully April will be the first month we have a full month that we can actually report on, because October, nobody came. November was only about 15 days. December was about 17 days. January was 20-some days. February was 20 days. March will only be about 20 days. So hopefully April will get a full month of reporting. But in the meantime, the states with the most arrivals in this fiscal year, this is not the total number, just this fiscal year. Let's take a look at those numbers. You can see here in this chart that in FY 2026 South African arrivals in the United States, 3,155, of whom 1,500 came in the month of February. Remember, February was just 20 days of departures. That's pretty impressive. Texas has received the most this fiscal year, 391. With their total from last year, this pushes them over 400 South Africans settled in Texas. California comes second with 244. Florida, 229. Michigan, 143. Iowa 136, South Carolina 120, Virginia 116, New York 108, Massachusetts 107, North Carolina 106. Ohio comes in at 99. But these are the top 10 receiving states for these refugees this fiscal year. You'll notice there's nothing for October because nobody came in October. But 3,155 thus far this year. Based on a Reuters report that the government has set up a temporary village of modular buildings to process up to 4,500 refugees per month, it leaves one wondering, will they try to fly 4,500 South Africans per month to the United States? That remains to be seen. We've never seen that level. 1,500 is the highest total so far. That in itself is kind of impressive, given the fits and starts of the program. Whatever the case is, the total figure now is 3,490 plus South Africans have come over here. 3,155 of them in this fiscal year. Thanks for your attention to this matter, as President Trump would say. And we'll get back with you with more updates as they become available.